This is the third and final game between me and Dorner in the Frankenfaction tournament. The score is 1-1, and this is the third. This is the third and final game. This is what it's all about. So the first battle I was able to win. The second battle was fairly close, but I messed up, and I went on at length about how I messed up. So in this battle I want to try something different. I want to try... It's a stupid ass tactic, but I want to see if it works. So I have tanked up on Cappadocian Cav and Sarmatian Horse. I have just a shit ton of them. I have five Sarmatian Horsemen. And 2 Cappadocians, 2 Horse Archers, my standard 5 Galatian Swords and Galatian Legionaries. Dorner still brings his Scythian Noblewomen over here. He has 2 of them, and the rest of his army you've seen before. 5 Hastati, 5 Galatian Legionaries, Germanic Slingers, Sarmatian Horse, Persian Cav. Standard stuff for Dorner. The Germanic Slingers, already in range. I cannot afford to take much damage on my Galatian Swords. So it's time to YOLO, boys and girls. I'm just going to send all of my cavalry in. Yeah. So this is pretty difficult to micro, but I'm going to try anyway. So crashing into the slingers. Then I'm going to try to crash into the infantry behind. Yep, that works. Even sending in my general for good measure. So the slingers are off the field. The cavalry makes it into the Hastati. It makes it sort of into the Galatian Legionaries, but not really. So fast charge is activated. Dorner doesn't have his... Oh, now he has his charge. So a bit slow, a bit too late here with the infantry support. I am able to get into some Hastati. I wanted to try to blob his army so much that he wasn't able to get proper fast charges off. Now, it's worked somewhat. No, it didn't work great. I'm leaving a Cappadocian Cav in here just to hold off all of these units and wait until their fast charge bonus ties down. The problem is, though, that I'm spending units to cancel an ability that is free for Dorner. So the only thing, I'm using a lot of funds, not getting much in return, but using them in order to stop his general's ability, and that's a huge problem. Now, the Galatian Legionaries were able to get the charge here. So that's the most important thing. Over here as well, the Galatian Legionaries have been able to get the charge. I don't think a single Galatian Legionary was charged with fast charge. So that was the main thing I was trying to accomplish, and it worked. Didn't get charged on my Galatian Legionaries. I'm going to use this one to push away the Persian Cav. I assume they're not going to want to get hit by precursors. So the Scythian noblewomen, I didn't want to fight them at range. I sent my Scythian Amazonian riders into melee, also supporting here with some Sarmatian horsemen to just finish off the Scythian noblewomen quickly. They have pretty good morale though. So the Galatian Legionaries doing their thing with precursors here. And at this point I just see that, okay, I lost this. I managed to not get my Galatian Legionaries charged. So all of my Galatian Legionaries are winning decisively. However, my Galatian swords just didn't do anything against the Hastati, and my cavalry wasn't cost effective whatsoever. So I'm going to try to kill the general here. Send in the Sarmatian horse against the general. Send in the Galatian Legionaries against the general. Now the Galatian Legionaries are going to be attacked in the rear here, so I'm going to turn them around. Try to throw precursors. Nope, apparently I was out of precursors, so that doesn't happen. Too bad. Now, usually I say never chase horse archers with melee cavalry. You're never going to catch them. Well, these Scythian noblewomen are medium. They're also tired, and it seems to me like they are on. They have fire at will turned off, and that they have skirmish mode on. So I'm just going to keep chasing them. Single attack order, don't have to micro anything. Over here though, I'm going to use my Scythian Amazonians to attack the Persian Cav while keeping the Galatian Legionaries in support. Cappadocian Cav General doing its best to break up a few engagements here. But there are just too many Hastati left in... there were too many Hastati left after the initial cavalry charge. It wasn't the best charge, and the Galatian Legionaries can't deal with Galatian Legionaries and Hastati. So, killing off a few of the Persian Cav, the Scythian Amazonians just getting away, but then they stop for some odd reason. I don't know why they stopped there. But anyway, running away, trying to not lose too many. So I'm going to send my general in as well at some point, because now it's all about trying to get the best engagements I can, because Dorner has a lot left. So trying to throw precursors here on the general. Oh, that wasn't the general over there, it was my general. So yeah, remember the Scythian noblewomen. Well, the Sarmatian horse were able to catch them finally at the red line. They are very tired, so they're not going to be that effective in melee. The Persian Cav gets charged by my Cappadocians. My Galatian Legionaries took a lot of damage though from the Persian Cav charge, but now the Persian cavalry is going to go down. But there's just no way I'm winning this at this point. I got extremely annoyed at how poorly I played in the second game. So this time I was like, okay, let's just send everything in and see if it works. And here my shield wall has bugged out. My Galatian Legionaries are facing the wrong way. That's great. Here the shield wall is facing the right way. Here I'm not using shield wall because I'm fighting Illyrian Theraeus. So why would I use shield wall? Cappadocians coming in frontally, but should do decent damage to Illyrian Theraeus. My general is is healthy at this point. Pulling out the general, getting the charge here against the Galatian Legionaries that are charging me. Pulling out the general. Yeah, I didn't lose too much there. My Legionaries are tired though, a bit of a problem. This Galatian Legionary is fresh. So I forgot to mention, but the other part of the trying to rush was getting my general close enough to his general so I could use Intimidate on him. I had Intimidate on my general, I had the warrior general. I clicked it, but it wasn't close enough. So that wasn't too good. Now my Galatian Legionary is getting spanked here in the center by 2 Hastati. I'm going to be able to get a nice rear charge here against the Illyrian Theraeus and the Galatian Legionaries. So it would be very nice if I'm able to break up this fight before the rest of the army comes into support. And indeed, I am. So sending in the Galatian Legionaries here against the Hastati. And let's see. Oh, they're shattered. Okay, that's why. Exhausted, yeah, not good. They have been fighting for a long time. They're exhausted. These Galatian Legionaries are fresh. A bit of a problem, you could say. So my Amazonians go to try to use them to break a few units. They didn't manage to break the Hastati because it was sort of a weird charge. My general is just plowing through units, trying to cause the damage. The Hastati actually broke, and now I'm going to try to break these Hastati with some rare charges from my Amazonians. So, yep. They broke, very nice. So sending out the Galatian Legionaries to get a charge against these Galatian Legionaries. And I'm going to try to use these Amazonians. Just charge straight into these Amazonians and stop them from trying to snipe my general. I don't have ammunition left at this point. So I'm going to lose that charge horribly. He's not going to lose anything. I'm going to lose my unit. So the Cappadocians have done a decent job, but they're about to die. And yeah, I just chain routed there. Well, 3 units routing, maybe not enough to warrant calling it a chain route, but that's how it went. Once again, I killed more than Dorner, but I had more cavalry, he had more infantry and more foot skirmishers. So that will bring up his man count. I have 740 here. He has 1980. So the second battle was definitely closer than this one. Still, I mean, in this battle, I was looking at it in retrospect. The cavalry charge could have been microed a lot better. So I blobbed up a few units. It could actually have been a much better idea to just send in 2 cavalry units, for example. That could have been enough, because as you can see, the units I sent in here, they don't perform well at all. Whereas the unit that I save sort of for late game does a lot better. Now, overall, my Galatian legionaries do a decent job. They don't do that much worse compared to the Galatian legionaries of Dorner. Some of that is because of the frontal cav charge. The Galatian swords do about the same as the Hastati. Some of them do significantly worse. Some of them do about the same. But once again, when you play against an army like this, it's no surprise that you can't afford to make mistakes, and you have to play significantly better than your opponent. Fast charge Hastati. I'm still trying to wrap my mind around that. So this was just a silly, friendly tournament, Frankenfaction tournament, where players could put their own factions together. And you could say that, well, me going with horse archers with Galatia, now that's a bit of a stretch. But the thing I was going for, and I don't know why I even thought this, but when Walrus Jones asked me to make a faction, my thought process wasn't, I'm going to make the most overpowered faction there is. It was basically, let's see where it is. Yeah, there it is. So it was basically, okay, what if Galatia, I like Galatia, I like the color schemes and the banner and stuff. So, okay, let's say Galatia brings in a few mercenaries. So, of course, they have the Levy Freemen, they have the Galatian swords, and that's why I have Galatian swords and Galatian legionaries, because Galatia. And it would be nice if they had the option to bring a Cappadocian Cav General. It would be nice if they had the option to bring a legionary general, so I wanted that. Then, since they are fairly close to the Greek world, I thought, let's give them some Levy pikes. And of course, they have Syrian archers from before. Talking to Walrus, Sarmatian horse, that sort of made sense to me, because Draco is nice. And another thing, Galatia isn't that far off. They should be able to get themselves some Sarmatian mercenaries, and that's why I brought the Scythian Amazonian riders as well. Just imagine a few mercenary units making their way into the armies of Koinon Galaton. So yeah, that was the series. Good game to Dorner. I really thought I would win after the second battle. At the third battle, it was like the first battle was a bit exhausting, because it was a fairly easy win. But knowing that you can't mess up anything in a battle, in a way it's fun, but in another way it's very, very frustrating, because you can do a lot of things right, but there's going to be that one thing, or those two things, that just makes everything fall apart. Now, you could say that that's what happened for Dorner in the first battle, where he missed the timing on his fast charge, didn't get the fast charge, and that was the least close out of all the games. But he wisened up, he adapted, and I think bringing his Scythian Amazonians, very good idea. Now, seeing the way he used the Scythian Amazonians, I mean the noble women, I always mix those two up, the noble women, I think I didn't respond to them appropriately, because had I sent all of my chicks against one of his, which is what happened, I would have lost the unit, but it would be a good trade. Now, not necessarily if he microed properly, like microing in and out of range of his slingers and such. So that would be something to try. But anyway, enough blabbering. You can tell that my mind is sort of churning away at this particular matchup. And it's the cool thing about it is, you know how much I like game mechanics and like the tactical side of things, the strategic side of things, knowing exactly what units do and such. And in some ways, I'm glad to have had this experience with facing an army where the army has great cavalry, it has great infantry. It's fucking Ariovistus. It has horse archers. It has the best foot skirmishers in the game in terms of tanking damage, and then just trying to defeat that, because there isn't really a blueprint for it. There isn't a blueprint for an army that can, like, I feel I have a fairly good blueprint for most of the faction matchups in Rome 2, but for a faction that can bring barbarian mid-tiers, the best, cheapest, low-tier swords in the game, the most cost-effective shock cavalry in the game, together with horse archers, like, that's just, I mean, this is an army, this is an actual army that Dorner could bring here, and he could even take out Persian Cav. So yeah, this, and then just for good measure, put 2 spear levy on top of that. Like, this isn't an army you want to face, but having to face this army together with fucking Ariovistus, holy shit. But having to face this army has made me it necessitates that I've had to think a lot more than I usually do. And yes, it's only a game, but I think that's what makes the game fun for me. So thanks to Walrus Jones for hosting the tournament, for the novel experience. Thanks to Dorner for the games. Congratulations on winning the tournament with the single most atrocious army ever created in Total War Rome 2, you bastard. Strength and honor.